Hello there, channel members, friends, and followers from around the world. This is Q8 Pilot, your host for tonight's show. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be flying the Rotate MD80 service from Arlanda, Stockholm in Sweden to Kastrup Airport in Denmark. First, let me welcome all of you to this live stream. Omari Joseph, hello, my friend. Welcome. Krill, welcome aboard. Glad to have you here. And my very good friend, Rand Cooley. Hello, Rand. How have you been, my friend? Wasty Extreme, hello. And welcome, Hakon339B. Yo, my friend. Welcome. Glad to have you here. And Alex. Hello, Alex. Good evening to you, my friend. Today, also, I'm going to be testing out my brand new Elgato Wave XLR microphone. So if you guys can let me know if I am clearly audible, if you want me to reduce the volume, increase the volume, and I'd like to also hear your comments about the sound quality. I'll tell you guys, I love this microphone. It's not the most expensive one that I've invested in, but I do love it, and I've done a few testing with it. And it's just really great. I really like it a lot. Leaf, hello, Leaf. Great to have you here. Wow, don't forget your wool jacket. It's 20 degrees Celsius here. I have to enjoy your show later tonight. Thank you very much, Leaf, for stopping by. Sergio, hello, Sergio. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you here. Thrust set simulations. Bill Barrett, hello, my friend. Welcome aboard. Excellent. You sound very well, as always. Thank you very much, Lee. Appreciate it. Sounds very... All right. Perfect. Perfect. All right. And we've got our alerts working today, too. Great. All right. So, folks, today, we're going to be flying the MD80. Now, this aircraft has been updated with the X-Plane 12 adaptations. So it is now, this version is different from the previous version. So this version is actually the X-Plane 12. If you want the X-Plane 11, it's a separate version. Now, I do understand that you get a discount if you are a previous owner of the MD80. But today we're going to be flying it. We're going to be checking the aircrafts out. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I think about this latest update. And we'll take it from there. So first, we're going to just take a quick look at the aircraft's texturing, and I'm happy to say that it hasn't deteriorated from the last version, but it hasn't improved. It's just exactly the same, so nothing has really changed in terms of the exterior model. It's a very nicely modeled aircraft, the MD80, not the highest fidelity possible, but still very, very nice. Here again, you can see as we zoom in, the texturing is not all that great. And this is again from the previous version, so it actually is the same. There are some high quality liveries for the aircraft which you can download off the net, but out of the box, you know, it's got some nice textures. They're not, again, the highest fidelity possible, but reasonable. I would say they are, I would rate them between good and very good. I would probably give it a 7 out of 10 or 6.5 out of 10 for the exterior model. Right, so, and by the way, nice texturing here of the wing, but again, as you get closer, you know, you lose the sharpness of the textures. You can see the resolution is not all that great. Some problems there, some errors there with the texturing. You can see here there's an opening, and there is another one right here. You can see it here, more visible. That's not right. And then you can see some more imperfections in the texturing here. Again, I'm very detailed, guys. I know a lot of you don't care much about this sort of thing, but I do. And yeah, the texturing is not the greatest for the MD80 by Rotate. Certainly the MD11 is much better in terms of the texture work, but overall a very good representation of the Mad Dog. And I do like this aircraft, by the way, and I'm starting to like the MSFS version more than I like the Rotate Sim version. So yeah, Marco. Hello, Marco. Welcome to the Q8 Pilot channel, my friend. Appreciate your subscription to the channel. And yeah, so that's the exterior there for you. And some nice details on the nose wheel, the landing gear, the aircraft lights. But again, as you can see here, the exterior texturing of the aircraft leaves, you know, much to be desired, really, in terms of the fidelity, considering, again, the price point of this aircraft, which is just under $60. Okay, so not a cheap add-on, without a doubt. All right, let's hop into the cockpit real quick here. And you will immediately notice that they have changed the panel color to the green color. Now, some MD80s ship with this color out of the box, and some don't. I know Alitalia has this green panel color. I'm not sure about Flight Nordic, but it looks like all the liveries in this version of the aircraft for X-Plane 12 ships with the green panel, which is okay. Overall, I am pleased with the 3D cockpit. Again, some very nice details. You can see here on the yoke. Again, some scratches here on the displays, as well as the glare shield. Overall, gives the aircraft, you know, the old look. So in terms of the texturing of the 3D cockpit, where we're going to spend most of our time, I think they've done a very reasonable job. By the way, not much different from the previous version. If you look here over at the overhead panel, again, some imperfections in terms of the texture work there, but overall, a very good job giving the aircraft, you know, a kind of an old look, which is something I do like. I do like the details, but in terms of the fidelity, I think they can do much better than this, especially they're charging $25 for this upgrade from the previous version. Looking here over at the circuit breaker panel, by the way, none of these circuit breakers are functional. They are just models for visual representation of what you'd see in the real aircraft here. And we can go to the, we'll just go past the door like that. Then you've got the passenger cabin, and actually, to my surprise, the passenger cabin looked pretty good. It's not bad. Again, don't expect any higher resolution textures there or any high fidelity representation of the aircraft, but it is representative of what you'd see on board an MD80. Again, one class, so all one class. You've got the 3-2 configuration here, and we can look over the, let me do this here. Hang on one second. Yeah, so here's the wing view, which I think looks nice. And here is, again, the back of the right wing. And similarly, the left wing, again, the view from the window looks very nice, I must say, but the texturing, again, without a doubt, needs work. I feel that they can do a lot better than this. Hey, Badger, hello, my friend, welcome. Glad to have you here with us. I hope you enjoy the show. And we have with us Carl Childers. Hello, Carl. Welcome, my friend. Glad to have you here. Thank you very much, Carl, for your support. I appreciate it, my friend. Aviton says, I'm not sure if you're... Oh, sorry, that wasn't for me. Aren't most MD80s worn now? They are probably very worn. So I think they... Yeah. I bought it a few weeks ago for $25. Yeah. Steel for 25. Yeah, if you already got the previous version, for sure. IFR Captain, hello, my friend. Welcome. So, this is basically what I have to say about the texturing of the aircraft. It looks good. Now, in terms of the changelog, there are very few things that have been fixed and introduced in this version. Which, again, in my view, does not warrant a $25 thing. We'll talk a little more about that, about the economies, a little later. But for me, what the aircraft, obviously, it's now compatible with xplane 12. So they've brought the adaptations of xplane 12 to the aircraft. But is it really worth $25 for an upgrade? In my personal view, everything else equal, no, it is not worth $25. And by the way, guys, I'll tell you what I did. I actually did not upgrade for 25, although I have the aircraft. I actually purchased the aircraft as if I did not have the previous version, just to support the developer. So I paid the $59 to get the aircraft, again, as if it's a brand new aircraft, simply because I want to support the guys at Rotate. We'll talk a little more about the $25 upgrade fee once we are airborne. All right, so let's get things set up here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Navigraph charts, and we're going to take a look at our flight plan. Our flight plan today is simple. We're going to be departing Arlanda, Stockholm, Sweden, runway 08 through the ABN 3 Romeo departure through the P vector transition. And we're going to be cruising at 34,000 feet and arriving into Kastrup Airport in Copenhagen, Denmark, runway 22 left. You can see we have already the tailwind. I'm not sure why SimBrief, all the runways seems to be giving me tailwind today. So we're going to be arriving at 22 left through the Airno 2 Charlie arrival through the Airnov transition. The alternate airport today is Echo Kilo Alpha in Karup, Denmark. And that is it for our flight plan. All right, so we're going to hide this now, and we're going to bring up the, let's go ahead and start with the cockpit preparation and start prepping the aircraft. First thing first, we're going to come here and start setting up the weight and balance for the aircraft. And for this, we're going to need SimBrief. So SimBrief and SimToolkit Pro. Perfect. We're going to bring up the load sheet here, and we're going to scroll down to the payload, and there we go. Payload and balance. Excellent. And we're just going to go fuel in all the tanks is going to be 7,800 kilos. So 7,800. And we enter that. And for the payload, so instead of worrying about passenger and cargo, we're just going to go to the total payload. And we're going to select 16,600. 16,600. Enter. Everything is in kilos, and we need the trip fuel as well. So the trip fuel is going to be 3122. 3122. And now we have everything here set up. Nothing in the red, which means all these numbers are okay. And next we're going to go here. We're going to request the forward door. And we're going to deploy the forward stairs. And we are going to open... You know what? Let's go ahead and open all the cargo doors. And then we're going to say start, start, and start. So now the fuel and cargo and passengers are being boarded to the aircraft. Excellent. Now we can start with the cockpit preparation. And one thing I've noticed is right now I'm getting about 60, 65 FPS. And the minute you start the APU, the FPS drops. So that's something I hope the guys over at Rotate can fix with time. So first thing first, we're going to come here to the overhead. Let me just do this so you guys can also follow along. And we're going to turn on the battery. And the battery is on. The sounds are reasonable. I think they could do better, by the way. The ambient sounds, the cockpit, the switches and buttons are okay, but the engine sounds are absolutely horrible. And I was hoping that that we get a sound, a sound pack for this aircraft, but unfortunately we don't. So there we go. All right, start pump is on, and emergency lights are armed. Non-smoking and seatbelt signs are on since the aircraft has already been refueled. And now we can, let's see here. We'll set this to captain for the meters selected heater. Static. I guess this is static air, right? Yeah, whatever. Airfoil we don't need. Anti-fog and anti-ice can go on. And now we can turn on the APU. All right, so we're going to hold and release, and now you can see the APU starting here. There you go. And normally what happens is starts slow and then kind of speeds up. And by the way, that's very realistic. That's how it actually works on the real aircraft. Mike Coffee, hello, my friend. So this is xplane. Yes, sir. This is xplane, without a doubt. Joseph, hello, my friend. Welcome aboard. I'm doing very well. Thanks for asking. I hope you are the same. Navigraph is an absolute must-have. Absolutely, yes. I think it's safe to say Rotate will be focusing on the MD80 for now, and then go back improving the MD11 or making a new aircraft. I could be wrong, just my speculation. Need to pull their finger out, and they want to change for this. Really disappointing so far. Yeah. Well, yeah. All right, so the APU is available.
Autopilot.
All right, so we're going to turn on the APU, and we're going to turn on the APU. This is the APU bleed, if you will, and high pressure bleeds. And now we have everything here set up. Perfect. We're going to go back here to the overhead panel, and we are going to perform the test, windshield test. Okay.
Glide slope.
And ground proximity warning test.
Terrain. Pull up. Sink rate.
All right. And everything here checks okay. Everything here. By the way, there's an iris mode selector now, so we'll do this in a minute. Attendant call. You can't press this to test, so that's a bit of a bummer. But we can test here. We can test the stall warning test. Maximum speed warning test is checked. We're going to go ahead and turn on the yaw damper, and everything here looks good. Everything looks good to me over here. And let's see here. The air conditioning shut-off overdrive is on auto, and we can test all the lights. Everything checks good here. Excellent. So we are now done with all the tests here. All right. Now you can see, by the way, the fuel quantity, and we're going to turn on the pneumatic pressure. There we go. Pneumatic pressure is on. And let's brighten up our displays. Let me just do this. All right. There we go. Again, there is no dual FMC, so it's a duplicate. Whatever you do on this FMC is duplicated here, which is, again, a bummer. I was hoping to see, a second, independent unit. But, that's okay. That's okay. Not a big deal at this point. All right, so everything is coming to life here, and we're going to go ahead now and turn on the ADDONS to nav mode. All right, and now we can start programming the FMC. All right, position in it. We are at Echo Sierra Alpha. Oops. Okay, Echo Sierra Alpha. And let's bring up our SimBrief plan here in SimToolkit Pro. And we're going to put the flight plan right there. Okay, there we go. All right, so that's our departure airport, and we're just going to select the position and enter it here. We're then going to go to the routes page, and we are departing Echo Sierra Sierra Alpha to Echo Kilo Charlie Hotel, Echo Kilo Charlie Hotel. Excellent. And we are Flight Nordic 3434. That's Lima Foxtrot 3434. Excellent. And then we can start. All right, so we can activate, but we cannot execute yet because the IRSs are not aligned. So on the MD80, you have to wait for it. Not had xplane since the dark ages before. Michael Tardif, thank you for your subscription to the Q8 Pilot channel, my friend. Welcome aboard. All right, so everything is good here. We're going to go and select the departure. We are going to be departing runway 08 today through the ADDONS 3 Romeo departure. And let's see here. There you go, the ADDONS 3 Romeo, which is this one here. Then we're going to go to the route. And from there, from Pitiv is the transition out of our departure. Then we're going to take November 872. So we're going to enter that November 872 right here. And we're going to exit at Airnov. Airnov, where's my N? Okay, Airnov. Excellent. And then it's the arrival, the Airnov 2 Charlie into Kastrup, runway 22 left. So we're going to go back to the arrival now, and we're going to select the Airnov 2 Charlie, which is this one here. And we're going to be performing an ILS, runway 22 left. So the I-22 left here is selected. Let's see if there is any transition into... There is no transition. It's the APGI. APGI is the final fix in our star into Kastrup. So nothing there. And now we can go to the route. Excellent. Let's see if the irises are still not aligned. All right, so we'll leave that alone for the moment. And we're going to go to performance initialization. Now, with the MD, you can simply click and it will just, populate everything for you automatically. You just have to enter the reserve fuel and the cruise altitude and wind information. So we're going to go back here to the very top and alternate about 2 to about 3.3. So we'll just put 3 for the reserves, and the cost index is 25. Cruise altitude is 340 feet, and the cruise wind today is 282.14. 282.14, and enter that. And ESSA is going to be -1. All right, -1, and transition altitude in. Let's see. The transition altitude is 5,000 feet. Right, 5,000 is set, and everything here is now ready. Excellent. Civilized Age, okay, no more Star Wars, and let's give a hand for Q8 Pilot. Well, thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. All right, let's go to takeoff. The current outside temperature is, if we look here, it's 19, is it? Is it 19? Let me check. If we go to the weather, it is indeed 19 Celsius. All right, so we're going to put 19. 19 is set. And if we just click here, we have our speeds 143, 149, and 156. And now we have iris alignment, so I'm going to say execute. And now you'll see here the message says pre-flight is complete. And so we are pretty much now ready with everything here. And let me just put this away. And we're going to change this to map. All right, and now you can see the the actual flight path. Again, drawing the path here is not done very well, but that's okay. One more thing we need from the flight plan is from the weather is the altimeter, which is 1018. All right, perfect. Let's come here and set 1018. By the way, guys, have you noticed any improvement in the quality of the sound? My sound, that is the microphone. I am again using the new Wave XLR Elgato microphone, and I'm also using the Wave XLR, which gives it an additional, boost. So yeah, let me know if you prefer the previous mic or this mic. Hello, folks. Q8. I'm happy I caught the stream. I have a ridiculous amount of experience on this aircraft. Within the near future, when I move states, I'll be able to enjoy her again job-wise. Oh, really? Shock Tide, that's really great. That's great to hear. So you can tell us all about it. All right, so the altimeter is set. Everything is set here. All's looking good. We're going to come here to the overhead panel, and we're going to turn on the fuel tanks. Fuel pumps are on. And all right, let's go ahead and call the pushback truck. First, let me set our altitude to 34,000 feet, which is our final cruise altitude today. And we need, folks, to turn on our hydraulics. Hydraulics pumps are on, and the auxiliary. Now you can observe the hydraulic pressure increasing, and that's quite fast. And let's go ahead and set our CG. So we're going to come here and let's see. Cargo is still not done. So we're going to say expedite. And now it's ready. And we're going to close the doors and deploy and retract the forward stairs. So let's take a look here on the outside. By the way, it says fuel pending. It's actually done. Yeah, we have all the doors closed now. And we are ready to go. Yeah. All right, so before we call the pushback truck, we're gonna come here and turn on our lights. Now, the MD80 is a little different than, your Boeings and Airbus, so you have the position and strobe lights is actually the same. If you put this on both, the strobe lights won't come on until the aircraft is actually airborne. But we're gonna go ahead and put the position light on. Anti-collision lights are on. And everything here is set up, and yeah, all is good here. We can call the pushback truck now and push out of our position and head over to runway 08. So let's go and call the pushback truck.
Ground to cockpit, please show me where you want to go.
All right, well, we'll just come over here. All right.
Ground to cockpit, tow is driving up.
Excellent. Yeah, my quality is better. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you very much, Watch Extreme. Appreciate it, my friend. All right, so everything is set up here, and just before we forget, we need to close the air supply. So we're going to turn those off in preparation for engine start, and we're going to set the engines to System A. All right. One thing we need is, let's go to the next page, and we need the CG. Gross weight.
All doors and hatches are closed.
Right.
Ready to connect.
9.5. All right, and we're going to do flaps 15. Trim is 7.8. 7.5.
Stabilizer motion.
All right, that's done. Did he ask us to release the brakes?
So connected and bypass
there we
pin
go.
inserted. Release parking brake.
Right. Parking brake released.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
All right, and we have clearance, ladies and gentlemen, to start our engines. We're going to start with the right engine first. All right, and you can see the engine is now spooling. And at about 15% we'll introduce fuel. There we go. Again, the sounds are very lacking on this aircraft, and really considering the price point of the aircraft, I think it's just really not all that good, to be honest. That's, by the way, our departure runway right there, runway 08. Right, we have a good start on the right engine. Let's go ahead and start the left engine. And the left engine is now spooling. Flight directors are on. And we can introduce fuel. Excellent. Now for the takeoff, we're going to hide the yokes so we can see what's going on. And we've got our fuel. Nothing in the center tank. All is looking good. All right, and we have a good start on the second engine. We're going to go ahead and set the TCAS to TARA. All right, and left engine is good. Close the guards. Start pump is no longer required, and the APU is no longer required. APU buses are off.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
All right. Parking brake is set.
Disconnecting cow. Stand by.
And we're going to set flaps 15. So let's come here and select flaps 15. There we go, flaps 15. And the reason we're going to do flaps 15 today is because the runway is a bit short and the MD80 is a pretty large and heavy aircraft. All right, let's disconnect. Arm the speed brake. All right, all's looking good. We're going to set the speed to 250 knots.
So is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Well, thank you very much for your service. And ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to go. Matter and antimatter flow regulator on auto. Yeah, brake RTO. Yep. All right, we no longer need the pneumatic pressure, so those we can turn off. All right, and everything else is ready. All right, so if we release the parking brake and just push the throttle, and as you can see, we get no warning, which means that we are good to go. And now we can taxi to the runway. What's up with the speed brakes there? Let's fix that. All right, there we go. Much better. I love the wings of the MD80. Nice wing flex. And here we go, taxiing to the runway. Takeoff EPR is set. Hi, may I get a shout out for my friend, please? He's called Ben. Well, hello, Ben. Welcome. Glad to have you here with us on stream. Yeah, the wing view is very, very nice on the MD80. All right, let's go ahead and turn on our strobe lights, landing lights, and the floodlights as well. Left and right. And this runway has some serious contours to it, so yeah, but that's all right. All right, let's line up with a runway 08 for departure. I'm gonna hide the yoke here, and we're gonna decrease the display. There we go. And you'll see as we line up with the runway here, let's get that right. All right, here we go. Runway 08, and we are ready to go. So we're just gonna give it a little throttle. And auto throttle engaged, EPR takeoff. And we are cleared for takeoff runway 08. Let me reset my view. Airspeed alive. 143 is our rotation speed. Look at the dip there in the runway. .140 V1 rotate. And positive rate of climb. Gears going up. Flyby. Man, those sounds are really bad.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
300.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
Right, here we go. And we're gonna go to climb. Begin our turn. Let's begin retracting flaps 11. At least it has sounds. Yeah, that's a nice way of looking at it. Right, and we're gonna pitch down and gain a little bit of speed. And we can go to nav. VNav. Autopilot on. And you can see here nav track, FMS EPR, nav track, VNav climb. And now you know your autopilot is working as it should. And we can now retract the flaps and the slats. Check this out, guys. Beautiful wing view there. There's a bit of a stutter there that I can see, and I'm not sure why this MD80 has this stutter every now and then. It's smooth for the most part, but sometimes it just stutters. Right, we continue our climb. And all our speeds and everything's now controlled by the autopilot. We're going to disarm the speed brakes. And we're approaching 5,000 feet, which is our transition altitude. So we're going to set the baro to standard, 2992 or 1013. Right, floodlights are no longer needed. And that's 5,000 feet. Let's increase the range to 80 nautical miles. By the way, I haven't checked if there are any discontinuities in our flight plan. So it looks like there is. All right. Let's fix this very quickly. Let's take a look at the arrival. And what I'm going to do is we want runway 22 left, okay? So we're going to come here and we're going to select the approach runway 22 left, which is this one here. So let's bring this up. And if we look here, we have Lamox. All right. And back in the FMC, if we look here, this is the center fix. So from Abigail, we can go to Lamox. So let me enter Lamox. Lamox. Or enter it here. And then we're going to select Lamox here. Okay. Doesn't like that. Likes that one. Excellent. And now what we'll do is we're going to go to plan. And we're just going to cycle through. That's us right there. Step through. LPAX, AirNav. And now we have, let me change the, there we go, that. Now you can see Lamox, so we've removed the discontinuity here. So if I step through now, that's Lamox, and then the center fix, final fix, and then runway 22 left. Brilliant. Excellent. All right, and let's switch this back to map and take it back to 80 nautical miles. And we are climbing 10,000 feet. Let's go ahead and kill the lights. All right, the lights are off, and we are looking good. 10,000 feet, aircraft is accelerating, and all is looking good. QA Pilot, we should update the Nightbot chat rules text. I will message you on Discord with the additional text for your review later, sir. No worries there, Carl. You know what, guys? I think the moderators, Carl and Rand, should probably give you guys access to Nightbot, add you guys there, and so you guys can make changes without having to always come back to me. Hello there, Andrew B. QA, is there any option for different cockpit interiors? Well, I'm sure, Andrew, that there will be in the community, I'm sure on the xplane org, there will be a number of mods for the aircraft, textures, the liveries, and the inside of the aircraft. The aircraft is relatively new. This version is relatively new. But I'm very sure that in the days to come, you will see a lot of those painters, you know, creating textures for the aircraft to match, you know, the specific livery. So that's probably something that's going to happen in the days to come. If you have to choose to buy the MD80 or the Fearless 742, which one will you get? Well, Benny, it's without it's. I mean, it's a no-brainer. I will absolutely go for the Fearless 742. This is a decent aircraft, but the Fearless is, yeah, definitely. Hello, Salzar. Welcome aboard. So, guys, let me tell you a couple of things, what I think about the... Now I'm going to wear the consumer hat, right? The flight simmer's hat. If I look at the number of changes made to this aircraft and the fact that it was brought to xplane 12 compatibility and charged $25, personally, I think that's a very high price for what the aircraft offers, and I firmly believe that this should have been a free upgrade to those who've purchased the aircraft. Now, that said, let me wear the developer hat. Xplane as a platform has not had great success, I would say, since the launch of Xplane 12. The user base, without a doubt, has not increased. It probably was maintained. Very few people are making a switch to Xplane. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of the developers have abandoned the platform, especially scenery developers. Why? Because it's a lot easier to create high-fidelity scenery for Microsoft Flight Simulator than it is for Xplane. And obviously, the consumer market is primarily Microsoft Flight Simulator. And so they can they can really top up their sales and, obviously, in turn, top up their pockets. The story is very different in Xplane, and the developers do not have that wide of an audience to depend on, masses. So they cannot depend on numbers, on a large number of people purchasing their add-ons, and that's why you'll see some of the airports are a bit expensive. You'll see that there is an upgrade fee for this aircraft, and because the sales are probably not at where there used to be when this aircraft first launched for Xplane 11, you will definitely see that the developers are, again, they need to survive, right? This is their bread and butter. And so from that perspective, I think that putting a $25 fee is a good price to pay in order to ensure that we keep Rotate Sim as a company going. So as much as the developers have a responsibility towards the community, we as flight simmers, we as the community have a responsibility towards the developers as well. And when things are not so well, and we know this is a really great developer with the MD11 and MD80, and those are the only two aircraft by Rotate Sim, I think they deserve to be supported. So those are the two things. It depends on which school you belong to or how your thinking process works. But I can fight. I can pretty much, fight for both arguments. I can refute both arguments, by the way, and I can support both of them. So I'm just really giving you guys the two perspectives, and if someone has a third perspective, that would be great. All great planes have an upgrade fee. That is correct, Alex. My only thing is, nothing really has changed in this aircraft from the previous version. I know they've introduced a few fixes, a few things in the FMC. But that's about it. So even if you look at the list of the change log, there hasn't really been much. But yeah, I think Rotate is a great company. I absolutely adore their MD11, and I love their MD80, by the way. But in terms of fidelity, this aircraft has to be improved. It's time to really bring significant updates to the aircraft and really make the community feel that they're getting value for money, and that's always my comment to developers when they approach me and say, "Well, Q8, what do you think?" And I give it to them straight. And by the way, what I tell them is very different from what I tell you guys in terms of the severity. I'm very harsh sometimes. Because I really want the developers to succeed, and so I give them the feedback to heart. It's like, yes, this is absolutely atrocious, doesn't work, the community is going to hate it, don't do that, or do this, because the community is going to love it, or the community is really interested in 1, 2, 3, 4. And so I give them perspective from the community, having been developing content for 8 years now. I have definitely the experience to tell them what the community likes and what the community doesn't like. So yeah. So I haven't, by the way, been approached by the guys at Rotate for this specific aircraft, but I was on the beta testing team for the MD-11, and it's a good. Both are good aircraft, but the MD-11 is much better than the MD-80. I have to say, it's definitely a step up. So when they were working on the MD-80, I was hoping that we'll get something, you know, at the level of the MD-11. But that has not materialized, obviously, and which is okay, and hopefully in time it will. Hi-Fi AS did that to get a huge test base to get a working product out quick. Basically, the beta testers got a free update. Yep, that's correct, Alex. I'm one of them. They should have done what AS did, free upgrade for a limited time. Yeah, that would have been, you know, the fitting thing to do, in my view. What BizJets you recommend for XP? I definitely recommend the Challenger 650 by Hotstart, the single most complex study level aircraft for flight sim, period. Right, we're approaching top of climb. Let's take a look at the outside. And again, from the outside, you can see that this is very resemblant of the MD80. And I do like the MD80. I like the looks of it. So yeah, there's the wing view. Not sure why it looks so funny here. This is, I suppose, the reflection, and in xplane 12 it looks a little funny. Yeah, but I love the wing view there. It's very, very nice, without a doubt. YK channel. Hello, my friend. Welcome aboard. I think the reflections are an xplane issue. Is it? Could be. Now, I don't think you should be able to see the sun like that through the clouds either, but that's all right. And by the way, we're flying with Active Sky Next today, so just in case you're wondering. All right. So 27 for 34,000. Here's the top of climb. That brings the yoke back. All right, we can remove. We'll bring the yoke back for landing, but for now we're good. Yeah, overall I think the aircraft does what it's supposed to do. There isn't really much difference from the previous version, other than a few improvements to the FMC and a few bug fixes, and of course xplane 12 adaptations. Yeah. Hello there, Gaber. Welcome, my friend. Glad to have you here. Thanks very much for your wishes, sir. Donimus. What do you think is the main difference today compared with FS 2020? Oof, the differences are huge. Flight models, scenery, the entire engine of the two sims are very, very different. Xplane uses, for example, blade element theory for, for calculation of the flight model, which is actually a more accurate method for simulating, the airfoil interaction with the winds and things like that. Whereas MSFS still uses lookup tables, and I know there's this guy. I remember when I first he said, "No, you know nothing about it. They don't use lookup tables anymore." No, they do use lookup tables. But what MSFS has done, or what ESSA has done, they improved upon the previous methodology for simulating flight model. In the previous ESP platform, they used to use a single point on each one of the aircraft parts. So there was one point underneath each wing. There was a point towards the top of the front of the aircraft. Another point on the ailerons. So they had single points, and then they used the lookup tables to sort of infer what the flight model should look like, or how should the aircraft behave. And that is, while can give you an accurate representation of what the flight model should be, it's anything but accurate. And for this reason, by the way, when A2A entered the space, the ESP space, and they started developing for FSX, P3D, they decided to build their own flight model. Their own flight model, or the AccuSim model, is very different from the lookup tables. They had their own interpretation of how the flight model should be represented, and for that reason, they really excelled in that space, and they created some of the highest fidelity general aviation aircraft for the ESP platform, or for FSX and P3D. Whereas xplane, they continued to excel on a flight model that was already very, very close to what you'd see in real life, and by account of real-world pilots. Blade element theory is great, and I've read about it actually, but I really enjoy listening to Austin Meyer, the founder of xplane, when he speaks about blade element theory and how he used it to simulate the flight model in xplane. Is just really dazzling to listen to this guy. He's very, very smart, and he's quite amusing too. Now, as two companies, they're very different. One is a small software house, being Glaminar Research, and the other is a gaming studio. Asobo is a gaming studio, and they have the huge backing of Microsoft, and Microsoft is a giant in the gaming industry. So the comparison can go on and on and on between the two sims. They're both great. I enjoy both of them, and I highly recommend both of them, as a matter of fact, for different reasons, of course. I'm watching U75 says, I feel Rotate releases too early IMO. Same with the MD-11, great aircraft now, but quite bad at release. Brings so much bad reviews. Yes. Look, again, with the... sometimes, so on the... All right, we're approaching the cruise altitude, so we're going to go to cruise. So, guys, the thing is about release. For example, I know when the X-Jets, or the X-Craft E-Jets released, again, the same thing... wow, this is not right, this is not study level, it's missing this, it's missing that, and just complaints. I've learned to appreciate things in life, and this is one of them. When I see a developer such as, for example, X-Crafts, somebody who's Marco, for example, very transparent guy, very dedicated, very committed, his heart is in... he's driven by passion. And so the release decision sometimes is, there are two things that will really determine or pressure the developer. One is us. It's like he knows, the developers know that when they start teasing their aircraft, they're creating momentum, they're creating this excitement. It's like, yeah, please release your aircraft. I mean, Flight Factor has been receiving so much crap from the community about, yeah, when are you going to release it in like 2035 or, and they are working very hard to make sure that they release something of quality to the community. At the same time, there is the actual business. So X-Craft is a company, and it's got employees, and those employees need to be paid salaries. If they have an office, I don't know if they do, but if they do have an office, they have to pay rent. So again, there are some things that dictate that developers should release, aircraft at a certain time, and that is something that is totally understood. It's understandable that they have to do this. Raul Rodriguez, good afternoon. How are you doing today? JF needs to work on the BA-146 on xplane 12, waiting for it. Yeah, I agree, Alex. I love that aircraft. I just love it. All right, we're approaching top of descent, and if we consult our, the approach plate for 22 left at Castrop, we'll see that we need to be at 3,000, and we need, all right, so 109.5, 3,000. All right, so first let's set 3,000. Go there. We're going to set 3,000. All right, 1, 2, 3. Oh, there we go. 3,000. 109.5. That's 109.5. 109.5 and 217 for the approach course. I think it's maybe easier to go this way. 217. Right, 217. And we're going to do the same here. 109.5 and 217. All right, there we go. 109.5, 217 final approach course, and the altitude has been reset to 3,000 feet, and we are good. All right. One more thing, we're going to check the weather at our destination. So the weather at Castrop is 0908 degree wind, not too bad. It might, by the way, kind of make the aircraft rock left and right, but we'll see. 18 Celsius, 1017, no significant change in the next couple of hours. So we are good here, and we'll just descend shortly here, as you can see. Okay, this one we can't. All right, so if we go to the progress page, TD is in 57 nautical miles, so we're almost there now, folks. And if we go to the approach, so here we have the VREF 129, flaps 40, 125 knots. We're going to add 8 knots for wind correction, and we're going to execute, and that takes us to 134, flaps 40. And go around EPR is set, and we have the ILS frequency here. That's something on the monitor. All right. Sorry about that, guys. All right. Right, so we can see here in about 50 nautical miles we'll begin the descent towards our destination, and the skies are clear, everything's looking good. Perfect. Just flew the A319 from Pact to Juneau, and at TOD the system crashed. Otherwise the clouds look good. Really? You mean the TOLUS? You were flying the TOLUS? That's very strange. Aviation on fly. Hey Q8, sorry, a bit off topic, but how are the FPS in the Leonardo MD80 compared to the PMDG 737 and MSFS? Assuming you've tried both. Yes, so I've tried both, and look, the FPS in the PMDG 737 off all the airliners is actually the best. It's better than the Leonardo, it's better than Phoenix, any build A310. It's by far one of the best aircraft in terms of optimization. And by the way, there is a recent update, I think a couple of days ago, of the entire fleet from PMDG. And Phoenix is going to be dropping a massive update for the Phoenix A320, including the IAE engines now, with a lot of improvements to performance, some texture changes as well. But it's going to be a massive update. Version 2 of the aircraft is going to be released very soon. So again, that brings a lot of excitement again to the community. I would like Rotate to make MD11 passenger version. I'm not sure if that's something on their roadmap or not. But either way, to me, it doesn't really matter, to be very honest with you. If they have the... by the way, we never turned on our weather radar. but that's all right. All right, all is looking good here. And we are going to begin the descent shortly. Boeing Corp Mike from Logan, New Jersey. Hello, my friend. Welcome. Aeronox, hello, my friend. Welcome. Hello, Q8. And what about X-Enviro for MS? I have mixed feelings about X-Enviro for Microsoft Flight Simulator. In some situation, it looks really good. In some situations, not so good. And when I looked, I've done a lot of tests for X-Enviro, and in some cases it reports inaccurate weather. So I've stuck to the default weather from Microsoft. I'm not using X-Enviro. I've done a stream. It does look really good. Their representation of overcast conditions is phenomenal. Looks really, really good. But then, you know, it just sometimes it reports incorrect METAR. So I decided, you know, not to use it. Yeah. All right, almost there. And here's a look again, quick look at the outside. Skies are clear. And here's a flyby for you guys. Again, the sounds are just really bad on this aircraft. I think there is a sound set for it. I'm not really sure, but the sounds is again not worthy of an aircraft of this price. You know, this price range. I mean, I'll quote, for example, the if you look at the worse than the default, yeah. I think they are worse than default, to be honest with you. If you look, for example, at the Phenom 300 by Airbus, an aircraft that has excellent FMOD sounds, and yeah, and the price ranges, and that's something I would expect when I'm going to pay a premium for, you know, for an add-on. At least have half decent sounds. I mean, they don't have to be recorded from the real aircraft, but at least, you know, have half decent sounds. That's my honest view. Wally Aviation, hello Q8. You're flying from my home base, as I like to call it. Well, I'm glad that I'm flying from your home base, and welcome to the channel, my friend. Hello Ken. While we're talking, WXAS does a very good job with accurate METAR than using XP for cruise. Nice combo and works well. Absolutely, Ken. And I've done a comparison video between the two, between X-Plane default weather and Active Sky XP, and in almost every situation that I have tested, and I've tested over 25 scenarios before making that video, and I will tell you that in every scenario, Active Sky reported more accurate METAR, and it also had more accurate forecasts of the destination airports. So yeah, so Active Sky is much better. By the way, even in terms of wind, you know, winds aloft, I think it does a much better job than X-Plane overall from the default X-Plane weather engine. So it's definitely worth it. I've always been fond of Active Sky, whether for P3D, FSX, or X-Plane, and I think the product is well worth it if you are very serious about flying in real weather conditions, and you know, getting wind shear and things like that, and realistic turbulence. I think that Active Sky will do the job and will meet your expectations. It has also historical weather. I haven't really tested this yet in X-Plane 12, but I know in X-Plane 11 and P3D and FSX worked great. And I recall that I've done you know, a few tests of historical weather, and I knew on those days it was really, really bad weather here in Kuwait, and it was pretty accurate. So definitely excellent, excellent add-on. Hello there, Duncan. Welcome, my friend. Glad to have you here. Thank you for your continued support. You've been a supporter for a very long time, Duncan. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Just heads up, people. XP Realistic version 2 is on sale for $19.99 instead of $34.99. Well, Alex, I'll tell you what. If that is the price right now, I'd say, guys, go and grab it, because it is an absolute must-have for X-Plane, and by the way, for MSFS. We've done the descent towards our destination now, Kastrup Airport, ladies and gents, and we are down from 34,000 for 3,000. And welcome, XKT Pilot. Hello, my friend. Welcome aboard. You're most welcome, Duncan. I appreciate it, my friend. I'm glad that you enjoy the content here on the channel. By the way, guys, you can see now VNAV descent is on, and that is one of the things I really like in the MD80 by Rotate. Is again, the system representation is done to a high standard, in my view. Not everything is simulated, but it's done. They've done it. They've done it at least to represent what the MD80 does in real life to an extent, to an acceptable extent. But I have to say that after flying this aircraft and flying the Leonardo software MD80, the Leonardo software MD80 is definitely higher in fidelity than this one, and it has more of the aircraft systems represented quite well. And I do like that add-on a lot. I fly it, by the way, a lot and offline. I do like to fly it, by the way, on the IVAO network as well. I've tried it on Pilot Edge as well. It's a handful of an aircraft to fly with online ATC, but I haven't really streamed that aircraft a lot on the channel, simply because I don't think a lot of people are interested in that aircraft. Every time I run a poll with the Leonardo software, it's just not an option that people opt for. So yeah. There shouldn't be any additional impact on frame rates using AS. Like you said, it just simply injects the weather. So unless there is a problem with the plugin itself, I don't think that you have any problems with it. I'm sad FS Realistic and CL650 are not compatible. You mean XP Realistic? Yes, you are correct. You are correct. It's not compatible. You will run into issues, without a doubt. Crashes and all that stuff. Sometimes, by the way, I've done complete flights with the CL650 with XP Realistic, and it works fine. But yeah, I realized in some situations it can break it. And every time it crashed, the culprit was active sky. All right, folks, we continue our descent now through 25,000 for 3,000. About 22,000 feet to go. And here's a look at the aircraft as we approach Denmark. Nice looking aircraft, the MD80. Look, it's just looks so mad. I guess that's where it gets the name, the Mad Dog. Look at that. Looks pretty mad, doesn't it? I like this livery, by the way. A Swedish airline, Fly Nordic. And by the way, the livery is available on the xplane.org site. It's a free livery. and back in the cockpit. One thing to note that the really dark cockpit thing has been resolved in the latest versions of xplane 12, and I am, by the way, running the latest version. Do you prefer it in MS or XP? I'm not sure which one to buy. Yeah, the green, yeah, the green here doesn't look very correct, for the lack of a better term. Duncan, do you prefer it in MS or XP? I'm not sure which one to buy. Well, Duncan, look, I'll be very honest with you on this one. Yeah, I'm on 1205. That's correct, Faber. I'll be very honest with you on this one. If I had to choose between the Leonardo software and the Rotate MD80, I would definitely go for the Leonardo software. It is a much higher fidelity aircraft. Again, by the way, the sounds there are not perfect. They're better than this one, I have to say. They're not perfect, but in terms of the system simulation, I think it is better than this MD80. The depth of system simulation. So, yeah. Hey, Drishal, how are you? I think, Drishal, you're trying to do exclamation points, I think. I think that's the... that is the... I think so. I think you're trying to get the points thing. She is a beauty, without a doubt. That's Ernov. All right. So if we look here at our flight plan and we look at Navigraph, we can see, where are we? Where are we? Let's see here. All right. So there we are. Here we are approaching our star for the ILS runway 22 left at Copenhagen, as you can see here. And from Abgi, we are going to fly to Lamox, and from Lamox is the center fix, as you can see here. If I zoom in here, let me just show you here real quick. All right, so from Lamox, this is the center fix for runway 22 left, and this is the final fix, and this is where we need to be at the approach speed, which is 135, I believe. We can go here to the approach, 134. 134, we're going to be doing flaps 40. The ILS frequency is set 109.5 is set here, with the approach course of 217 degrees is also set. We're going to take one note of the altimeter for 1017 here at Castro. And the transition altitude is 5,000 feet, 1017. All right, perfect. And now we are good. 17,000 feet, almost there. Kenny Myers, greetings to you, my friend. Thanks for being here. Happy Monday to you. Do you get the massive, weird cloud pyramids? You know what? I don't know. Do you mean in MSFS or in xplane? I used to get those with xplane weather, but not with active sky. I have both as well. I fly GA from time to time in MSFS, and the tallest A321neo in xplane 12 all the time. Yeah, this is a good one. All right, 15,000. We're almost there now. We can see the runway now appearing here. I'm going to reduce the range to 20 nautical miles, and everything is looking good for our approach. Fuel is still very good. 2,000 in each tank. There's a slight imbalance there. Nothing too serious though. And we've got our speeds, 134. Let's go back to the legs page. There we go, legs page. Excellent. And that's Ernov. almost at the beginning of our star into Kastrup. Now, one thing you'll notice here is the speed, 220, this 2 cents. So in about 7 nautical miles, we're going to begin reducing our speed. Now, if we go to the next page here, this is 220. All right, so we're just going to set this ourselves. All right, we're looking good. Here's a look at the outside here as we approach Kastrup Airport in the Danish capital, Copenhagen, the home of my good friend Thomas Rasmussen. What do you think, why Laminar does not want to give access to proper weather injection for such a talented team like X-Enviro? Look, I don't know, but I can speculate, okay? And I've had a lot of conversations with Magnus from Threshold. It would appear to me that, you know, that Laminar do not want to perhaps show, you know, parts of their code that they consider proprietary, and that they probably also take a lot of pride in what they've developed. So remember, the development team within Laminar is a very small team. Austin is primarily responsible for the flight modeling, and Ben is really the guy that develops everything. So it could be that Ben, you know, invested a lot and he just doesn't want to do it. I just don't see any other reason, really, to be honest. All right, let's go ahead and turn on the lights. That could be it, by the way. That's just my hunch. Protecting his code, yeah. That would be my... Also improve video performance with less VRAM usage. Yeah, I am too. I'm definitely looking forward for the 12.06 version. All right, landing lights are on. Let's go ahead and turn on our floodlights as well as we approach the capital city. And we are at Charlie Hotel 632. We are at the beginning of our star here at Copenhagen, as you can see here. So we've just entered the star after air knob. That's the transition. And now we're heading over to ADDONS. What I will do, I will let the aircraft descend to 240. It's still not at 240, so let me use the speed brake here to just reduce the speed a little bit. And we'll get it down to 240. Yeah, let's get it to 240. And then what we'll do is we will go to the FMS override, and I will override the FMS if the speed still doesn't drop, because we definitely need the speed to drop. And the MD80 is an aircraft that takes its time. It's a huge bird, so it does take a bit of time to reduce its speed, and we do want to be at the correct speed as we approach the center fix for the runway 22 left. So far, all is good. And again, by the way, you guys just saw how the aircraft veers off to the right, then makes the turn to the left. That's a bug in xplane, so that's incorrect. The aircraft should not do that. But nonetheless, we hope that it gets fixed in the next version. Right, we're gonna go down to 220 now. All right, here we go. 240, and we should go to 220. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do, folks. I'm gonna use the FMS override, and I'm gonna go to 220 knots. Right, there we go, 220. Come on. Come on. All right, there we go. 220. And I'm going to use the speed brake again to reduce our speed. We're actually pretty close now. Let's switch the range to 10 nautical miles. All right, 5,000 feet, 1017 for the altimeter. So 1017 is set. And we're looking good. Here's 220. Excellent. And about 2,000 feet to go. We're going to go ahead and arm the speed brake. All right, and now we're going to go to 180 knots. 180 is set. And we're still looking good. That's Abgi, and from Abgi we're going to go to Lamox. Lamox is the waypoint we entered, which is immediately before the center fix for the runway 22 left. We're looking good. Look at that view. All right. Almost at the initial approach altitude. And 180, that's fine. So about 700 feet to level off. And we'll just maintain our speed now. All right, here's the turn now towards Lamox. We're going to level off momentarily at 3,000.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
All right, let's go ahead and lower the landing gear. That's fine.
Landing gear.
We can always silence the alarm.
Landing gear.
And we're going to go to flaps 15. Right, all is looking good. That's flaps 15. Q8 has done any setup video. I have done. Hi, Camilo. How are you doing, my friend? I've done a lot of setup videos. It depends on what you're looking for. Right, 180. We're looking good. And we can go now to 160 knots. And we're going to go to flaps 28. And here's the turn towards the center fix from Lamox. ILS. Localizer track. That's the runway right there. And we're going to go ahead and start reducing our speed. 134 is the final approach speed. Definitely some crosswind there. GS track. So the glide slope has been captured. Right, and we're gonna go flaps full. Right, let's set the auto brake to medium. And we are clear to land. Runway 22 left. Definitely lots and lots of wind. The aircraft is slowly adjusting. You can see here the localizer. So very slowly coming to intercept the localizer aligned with the runway. There's definitely some wind there. About 13 knot crosswind. Look at that here. 13 knot from the left. Alright. I need my yokes here. Right, at 1,000 feet, we will disconnect the autopilot. And this button, by the way, doesn't work. The yellow button, so we're just going to disconnect from the autopilot here and the auto throttle. Let me bring the auto throttle back. Bring my throttle quadrant. And that's 1,000 feet.
1,000.
All right, 1,000. Autopilot off. Auto throttle off, and my aircraft. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kastrup, Copenhagen. Reversers. And we'll use manual braking. All right. And we made it safely. Lovely. Not sure what happened to my mouse there. Alright, so that's the main terminal. We'll just make the turn over here and head back to the terminal. That was pretty cool. Yeah. Let's retract the flaps. Nice animation of the flaps without a doubt. And we're going to retract the, there we go, speed brake. So what do you guys think of the landing? Did you guys enjoy that? Good evening, friend. Would you recommend updating to xplane 12? Absolutely, Remy. Yeah, absolutely. Looks like there is another MD80 Scandinavian Airlines just arrived there. Not sure what it's doing here. See that, guys? Man, those sounds are really terrible. Alright, here we go. We'll take a look, of course. We'll take a look at our landing in just a second here. And we can turn off the landing lights, track the lights, and have the strobe light here, position light, and everything else is good. Sounds like a vacuum. That is exactly my thought. Yeah. We arrived just in time for the airport lights to come on, which is always nice. Overall, I do like this aircraft. It's without a doubt, it's definitely worth, by the way, its price of $59 if you are, if you don't have this aircraft. So if you don't own the Rotate MD80 and you're thinking of buying it, I absolutely think that it's worth its price. But I really hope that the developers would improve it to make it completely worthwhile. But excellent add-on overall, lots of fun to fly. It's got a very unique feel to it. The flight model of this aircraft is very unique, and I do like it quite a bit. Yeah, you'll definitely enjoy flying it in X-plane. Right, I think we can bring the aircraft to a stop somewhere here. Let's see. Maybe here the next one is Charlie 39. Yeah, we'll take it to Charlie 39. Right, let's kill the taxi lights so we don't blind the marshalers there. And welcome, we've made it safely. Parking brake is set. And we can bring the ground power unit. Request the GPU. External power is on. And let's kill the engines. Excellent. All right. Now, folks, we are going to do the replay. And to do this successfully, what we need to do is we need to use the... we need to just go use the... instead of using the mouse here, because that will cause the aircraft to crash, so we'll just use the controls to take it back. And then we'll look at the replay. We'll do it a few times for your viewing pleasure. Zebo pushes out updates like a madman. He updates more in a month than PMDG in a year. That is true, yeah. He's pretty serious about his about his aircraft, about his add-on, and remains to be one of the best add-ons for flight sim to date. The Zebo 737. I hope things don't crash, and by using this method I just make sure that the sim doesn't crash. Alright, there we go. Alright, here we go. And here is the landing at Kastrup Airport. Look at this beautiful sight of the MD80 arriving here into Kastrup Airport in Copenhagen. Runway 22 left. Yeah, look at that. How cool is that? Let's do it again. Okay. There we go. Look at those beautiful wings with the beautiful wing flex. Really, really nice. Right, we'll do it one more time. Just look at how beautiful this aircraft looks. Yeah. Well, folks, this is pretty much it for this live stream. And my final remarks on the MD80 by Rotate Sim is that it's definitely a very well developed add-on. Not much has been brought into this version for xplane 12 other than the xplane 12 adaptations. Though, having said that, it is an aircraft I definitely recommend. It's one of the better add-ons available today for flight sim. In terms of the price point of the aircraft at $59, I think it is a reasonable price to pay to enjoy the MD80 in xplane 12. The sounds are just not really consistent with the aircraft's price point in my view, and it needs to have much better sounds both in the interior and exterior. There are several issues with the texturing both inside and out, as I've pointed out throughout the stream, but nonetheless a good add-on to have, and I'm very happy to support the efforts of the developer to continue the development of this aircraft. It's quite comforting to know that Rotate is constantly working on improving their add-ons, and hopefully we'll see more frequent updates from this developer of both the MD80 and the MD11. I want to thank you very much, guys, for being with me this Monday evening or morning, depending where you are in the world. And it's been definitely fun. I hope that you've enjoyed this stream as much as I enjoyed streaming it for you. Until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you all very soon. Stay safe, and bye-bye for now.